What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. 10mm ammo test series continued. Today we are on number 18. The turkey's really upset about it, so you're going to hear from him plenty today. Today we're going to be taking a look at Winchester BIG BORE, 10mm of course. This is a 200 grain semi-jacketed hollow point. It's advertised to be going at 1175 feet per second for a total of 613 foot-pounds. So there's really nothing super special looking about this. It is just a semi-jacketed hollow point like they say. It has a pretty mild cup there in the center for a hollow point. It has a few skives on it to help the copper expand and do its thing. I'll read the back of the box here. I'll put it up on screen. It says here, optimized expansion achieves massive shock and produces lethal wound channels, deep penetration, semi-jacketed hollow point design controls, and delays expansion. So I think they're saying this gets a little bit deeper than normal. And then they say reliable performance, dependable in critical personal defense or hunting situations. So according to the box at least, it should be a properly weighted, almost properly velocityed, good hitting 10mm round. But of course, we have to test that to confirm. The two firearms we're going to be using today for this test are the same firearms we always use for our 10mm test because we want to keep things consistent. We're starting out with the Springfield XDM Elite 3.8-inch OSP that has a hollow sun red dot, and then we have a Colt Delta Elite 5-inch 1911 style with iron sights. Polymer red dot, steel iron sights. We're going to put 5 rounds through each one of these firearms into these B8 targets today. We're going to check accuracy offhand, and we're also going to get an average of velocity and foot-pounds. Then we're going to move the chronograph to right in front of the gel so that we can capture the velocity of the bullet going into the gel, hopefully. We have two 20-inch gel blocks lined up for a total of 40 inches of 10% clear ballistics gel. And like I always explain real quick, I do all my accuracy testing offhand. I don't use a bench or a table or a rest or anything because we're doing practical accuracy. In a defensive situation, I don't expect to have any of those awesome things with me, so we just do it like we would normally have to shoot. Testing explained, let's get to shooting. All right, we are 15 feet off that chronograph, 20 feet off that target. We have 5 rounds loaded up, and she inertial released herself there. All right, red dot, let's see what we can do. Let me turn that thing down just a hair for today. $11 or 1071. Doesn't feel too bad in the hand at all. It's actually pretty decent for 10mm, even though it is a heavier grain weight and has the velocity in there. 1074, if I didn't say it already. $1069. $1067. And one more. Now this is the 3.8-inch barrel, so we're not getting all that velocity that's on the box. And 1075. Let's take a look at the target. I'll accept that. I believe this was my first shot, second shot, and then the rest of them were in here. So I'll definitely take that. I'd like to see them all in the X-ring, but you can't win every single time. But it gets the job done for defensive purposes. You can definitely see that it's accurate enough. Let's see what happens with a 1911 with some iron sights. All right, let's try 5 rounds in the 1911 with 3-dot white sights. We got in the X-ring there right off the bat. We got 1089. X-ring again, and we got 1113. And a little bit off to the right with 1025. And 1127. And 1096. Let's go take a look at that one. It's a pretty good one. So I definitely felt myself pull that one. The rest of these shots were pretty good. This one, my trigger broke just a little bit early before I had my sights totally confirmed, but a little less jiggly for me on the white sights as opposed to the red dot today. Without that jiggle, I can do just a little bit better. So very good group out of both of these. I would say that's totally acceptable, more than acceptable. That's pretty good. All right, XDM Elite's gonna go first, and we'll see what we can do in the gel block. We are 15 feet off the gel block and the chronograph. Got right where we wanted to, and that was 1060. .1060, and here we go. There's our entrance right there, coming across to the side. We definitely have a pokey wound channel right there. Take a look at that thing. That thing goes all the way down there. So let me straighten up the tape, not that it really matters, and let's start at the beginning. So we don't have too crazy of an entrance wound. It's not one of those big explosive paths. It's not like a major hollow point that expanded and did a whole bunch of stuff at the beginning, but it's consistently doing something as it goes down. Looks like pretty much a hard cast type of wound. I wouldn't even see like, or say an extreme penetrator type of thing. I would say it's definitely a hard cast type of a wound. Very piercy, very pokey. This is a used block, but it's a good catcher block, and we see we didn't interfere with any other channels, and we can see that thing nose front right now, and I'm telling you, it did not expand. So we will have to get it dug out to just confirm that, of course, but right now, as far as I can see it, I do not think we had any expansion, and that explains why it got as deep as it did. It's right now landing at 35.5 inches. It has a little bit of a poke back from probably 36. Coming in from the top, you see a little bit of disruption at the entrance, and then it just does its thing as it gets through that first 20 inches of block, gets more pokey and piercy, settles down the wound channel, and eventually lands right here past the cutouts at its final resting place right there. And like I said, I don't think it's opened up, but we'll cut it out. Let's move on to the Colt Delta Elite, see if the increased velocity can get this thing to open up a little bit. All right, let's move it up to the 5-inch barrel and see if anything changes here in the gel. Last one was 1060, and that one is 1112. All right, 1112, and we got right where we wanted to. That's the top path right there. Coming in from the side, I will say it at least appears from this angle to be a bigger wound channel. Going down, we can see more disruption, not a whole lot more, but the increased velocity probably had something to do with that. By the time we got into the second block, it was the piercing wound channel again, nothing super special, and we landed a little bit farther forward than the other one. I'm going to say that this one is at least 36.5 inches, closer to 37. It got itself a little bit farther than the other one, about a bullet's length in front of the other one. And I don't see any expansion. It could have some flattening, but not expansion. Let's take a look at the top real quick. Now, since I didn't shoot it off to the side like I should have, we do have a little bit of an overlap, but I think you can see the separation right about there. As we go down, they're just overlapping each other with the same kind of little pokey, piercing wound channel, and that's about it until you see it landed right there. Flatter face, but definitely not opened up. Let's get them dug out. All right, here we have the Springfield 3.8-inch, and here we have the Colt Delta Elite. I'm surprised that the Delta Elite doesn't look a little bit more smushed or opened up. It does, if you see, have a little bit of a dent in there where it must have gone a little wonky when it had some velocity still. And this one from the 3.8-inch has a little bit of material clogged in the middle, has a little bit of gel block, but neither one of them expanded well. They just did their thing through the gel. All right, so we have some minor peeling back. It's kind of like if you hit a post, a metal post with a hammer enough, it'll start to mushroom, but it definitely didn't do the expansion that we thought it would. It has the scores in there to make it do it, but I don't know what kind of velocity you're supposed to get before they open up. The box set a 5-inch barrel would achieve what it's supposed to do. Now, it did get a little bit deeper, and they say that it could get deep, but the wound channel itself, just these kind of browns, when they go through there, they're going to act like hard cast pretty much. They're not going to really create too devastating of a wound channel. The penetration does sometimes, in some people's opinion, make up for it. So it's not too impressive with the slow motion as far as temporary wound cavity. The permanent wound cavity is less than impressive, but it is getting a deep dive in there. That's more than enough penetration. For self-defense, people are going to automatically argue that that would be an over-penetration situation, even though that's a whole new argument, or a whole nother argument for a different day. As far as hunting, though, a lot of people do want to be able to get the bullet down deep for some of these animals that they are worried about, whether it's hunting or self-defense from animals. We saw that out of the 1911 today, at least for me, it was super accurate. I'm usually a little bit better with that red dot, but today it just wasn't my jam. But overall, accuracy is there. I do really like it when an ammunition can be super accurate, because if you can't place the shots, then bullet performance is secondary. And of course, this is bare gelatin, and this was standing shooting at a target. It's not like a real defensive situation, but it's the closest that we can get with controlled parameters. The recoil isn't bad, but it's there. It's a 10mm, but don't be afraid of 10mm. It's not really that bad in general. If you found this video helpful, maybe give it a thumbs up and share it with someone else who might like it. If you like this kind of testing, make sure you're subscribed and you have the notification bell on so you don't miss anything. We have extensive playlists. Like I said, on the 10mm end, we're up to number 18 now, so there's a lot to look back on, a lot of information. And if you feel compelled to help support the channel, because this stuff isn't cheap, we are on Patreon and we do have a join button for YouTube. Thank you to everybody that's already there. Thank you for watching this video, and until we see you next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.